Over at DC Comics, the Lazarus Planet event has become the new flashpoint of sorts, as it's become the springboard for so many DC Comics stories, from everything this side of Wonder Woman and Shazam. Essentially, the crux of the story and the building block that so many DC Comics are following from is the idea that the Lazarus volcano on an island erupted, causing the DC universe to become coated in a Lazarus resin. And this has even extended into one of the world's weirdest superhero teams. My name is Arako Braddock, and let's go ahead and see how the Doom Patrol intersect with Lazarus Planet and set up a new status quo in the pages of Unstoppable Doom Patrol. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button if you enjoy our content. And I want to get things started by introducing the world's strangest heroes with DC Comics solicitation text for this new era of Doom Patrol. The world's strangest heroes are back in the DC universe. After the events of Lazarus Planet, more people than ever have active metagenes. Most of these new metahumans have become misfits, shunned and imprisoned by a fearful society. They are hidden away in the dark, lost to a system that only sees them as weapons or guinea pigs, ticking time bombs that can only be defused by the unstoppable Doom Patrol. And I want to go ahead and kick things off by reading off the creative team for Unstoppable Doom Patrol. This one is written by Dennis Culver. We have art from Chris Burnham, colors over from Brian Reber, letters from Pat Brosseau, and the cover for Unstoppable Doom Patrol is coming over from Chris Burnham and Nick Filardi. Here's a look over at the cover for the issue. One of the things that I think is really notable about this kind of first cover for Unstoppable Doom Patrol is that this is essentially what the dawn of DC Publishing Initiative first kind of revealed some teaser images for. So it's great to kind of have the lead up to get excited for this new title. DC Comics doesn't always publish a Doom Patrol series, so whenever a new Doom Patrol comic book comes along, it's always kind of cause for celebration over at the publisher. I love the way that kind of Chris Burnham and Nick Filardi depict all the characters on this image. I love how it sort of accentuates some of the weird aspects of these characters by showing off some of their powers, as well as featuring, some kind of off-the-wall colors. And also, it's just so kind of symmetrical and clear. I think that maybe kind of the intriguing characters on this cover will attract maybe some cursory fans of the property. And let's go ahead and take a look at some of the interior work for the issue. I want to give a big thanks over to Adventures in Poor Taste for posting this off-the-wall preview of the issue so incredibly fast. Now, out of so many of the books in DC Comics, I think that Doom Patrol strikes such a specific and niche tone, and I really think that Chris Burnham's art is so well suited to these characters. We already got a little bit of a tease at how he was possibly going to approach the series over in a previous Lazarus Planet one-shot. But, seeing kind of the off-the-wall designs on some of these pages, seeing how kind of bold, some of the line work is on, several of these pages is just worth noting here. I think Burnham and author Dennis Culver really kind of push this property as far as it can go in some of these pages. The cast of this new Doom Patrol book is interesting as well. In addition to kind of mainstays like Robotman, Negativeman, and Elastiwoman, as well as thechief, we're also being treated to new characters like Beast Girl and Degenerate, who we get to see a little bit later on in the issue. And oh boy, I thought Dennis Culver did a great job kind of tracking each character arc for each specific character. In particular, this is a great issue for Degenerate, kind of showing how he sort of comes to terms with his powers, encounters the Doom Patrol, and it features, a lot of really kind of intense emotional moments. Also, I really enjoyed kind of the beginning stages of Beast Girl and how she was kind of the moral support of the team in some instances. We're only one issue into this new Doom Patrol series, but I think the team dynamic is really well established already from kind of the onset of the issue. Also, I really like how much Chris Burnham is able to kind of depict some of the personalities of the characters just from the movements themselves. If we take a look at this panel, we can see the Beast Girl character over kind of like hanging from a pole, and the way that she's kind of, playfully playing off of that kind of prop in this, particular panel is just gorgeous. I love kind of the way that, Jane uses her new personality of the chief to also sort of have a little bit more kind of, spunk and bite to her character. I really like that as well. And then also we kind of have, some of the personality and some of the warmth of the series still exuding over from Robotman and Negativeman as well throughout this book. We feature Robotman in a really kind of important moment with Degenerate a little bit later in the issue that definitely sort of sparked my interest. I also love how this book is sort of ambitious in the plotting. There are numerous characters appearing from the DC universe kind of throughout this book. And I'll kind of spoil one thing. We do get an appearance over from Batman. I love some of the conversations between Batman and the Doom Patrol. And I think it kind of brought out some of the differences in the characters as well, and highlighted the fact that, there's some weird scenarios where the Doom Patrol are best suited to kind of tackle, what's at hand here. And even though Batman decides to insert himself into so many different contexts, it doesn't mean that he always necessarily should. And in addition to Batman, we also get other characters appearing throughout the DC universe in some really kind of fun and interesting ways. I just really like the fact that it seems that Dennis Culver has really plotted this in a very kind of ambitious and straightforward way, as well as playing off some of these team dynamics and exploring that kind of warmth and personality in the property. Love the fact that this team is kind of heading over to Gotham City to kind of fight back against this mysterious metagen company and become embroiled in so much sort of weird and off the wall moments. In addition to kind of Chris Burnham really capturing some great character moments and page designs, I really like how he kind of, depicts each character's movement. Burnham is able to really kind of manipulate the comic book page to show how these characters are just kind of so much different. And plus, I love the fact that, the creative team here decided to explore the underground with Jane as well in this issue. Even though there's so many plot elements in this book coming from, Lazarus Planet, the reintroduction of a new team featuring even some new characters in this issue, I really do think that this is an incredibly kind of cohesive and straightforward debut. I think even though this seems, really easy to pull off, it really seems like both Dennis Culver and Chris Burnham are working behind the scenes to make sure they give readers kind of the best experience, as this issue is featured with so much kind of a depth and nuanced plotting. This issue even has like multiple kind of post-credit sequences, which I also enjoyed. And I really do think that Chris Burnham's like fine line here is able to go like as expressive and as sort of off the wall as the Doom Patrol calls for. So I was very highly anticipating the debut of Unstoppable Doom Patrol over from DC Comics. And on the whole, I really like what I'm seeing here. I think this would be a great way for fans of the television series to sort of enter the mainstream DC universe. Eventually they'll kind of get caught up with some of the nuances from Lazarus Planet. And plus, I think kind of new readers will be able to get to see some new kind of characters and characters that they're familiar with popping up from other DC properties. So if you're a new comic book reader, this is a really great place to get started with the Doom Patrol. I love the personality that Chris Burnham brought to this project and think that Dennis Culver has a great handle on writing some of these characters. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for coming to check out the video. What were some of your thoughts over on Unstoppable Doom Patrol #1? Thank you guys so much one last time for coming to check out our content, and you best believe we'll be back soon for more excellent DC and Marvel Comics content in the near future. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.